Welcome to News at 10. I'm Brendan Lepore. The floods in Pahang claimed its first victim when a staff of Jerantut District Forestry Department office drowned while wading through flood waters in Kampung Gintong Tebing Tinggi, Jerantut yesterday. The victim, Zulkarnain Hitam, 58, was drowned, or rather found drowned at 2 a.m. today, believed after being washed away by a strong current while walking home with his 3 sons. Jerantut Police Chief Superintendent Mazlan Hassan said one of Zulkarnain's sons, Ukai Iskandar, 23, who is a university student, was also washed away and yet to be found. He said the other 2 sons, aged 13 and 15, managed to be saved by the villagers. Zulkarnain's remains has been taken to Jerantut Hospital for post-mortem. The search for Ukai Iskandar was continued at 9 a.m. today. Over in Johor, a body of a man identified as Iqmal Hakimi Mahasan, 20, who had gone missing since 7 p.m. on Saturday, was found near Kampung Melayu Nior in Kluang, Johor at 11:24 a.m. today. Kluang Fire and Rescue Operation Commander Akub Sidek in a statement said the body was found some 50 meters away from his car, which was believed to have fallen into flood waters near the area. He was pronounced dead at the location and the operation ended at 12:56 p.m. Residents affected by the floods are urged to prioritize their safety and to obey instructions from authorities to evacuate immediately. Their unwillingness to cooperate would only delay rescue efforts by the authorities in other affected areas. Johor Fire and Rescue Department Director Dato' Yahaya Madis said the evacuation orders was aimed to protect residents' lives and as a precaution due to the unpredictable flood situations.
Di kawasan Skudai, baru-baru ni ada juga anggota penduduk yang tidak mahu berpindah dan mereka beranggapan bahawa selama ni banjir berlaku tidak membahayakan mereka dan mereka masih boleh duduk di rumah-rumah mereka sendiri. Sebenarnya banjir sekarang ni tidak dapat dijangka.
He also advised motorists not to take the risks of driving through flooded roads to avoid untoward incidents. Dato' Yahaya was met after conducting an aerial survey on areas affected by floods around Kluang, Mersing and Kota Tinggi. Members of the public are urged not to disseminate unverified information, photos or video clips that could cause panic and anxiety to all Malaysians, especially those affected by the flood incident. Commenting on some old clips that went viral on social media platforms, Communications and Multimedia Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah said the people should verify the authenticity of the contents before sharing them.
Warga netizen, tolonglah jangan menularkan video ataupun gambar yang sensasi yang boleh menyebabkan kerisauan dan kegusaran di kalangan masyarakat. Pastikan perkara yang kita kongsi itu betul, ya. Dan saya juga nak nasihatkan kepada rakyat untuk perkara-perkara seperti banjir ni, bagi setiap daerah tempat yang paling baik untuk dirujuk ialah bilik gerakan daerah, pejabat daerah, ya, ataupun pejabat polis daerah. Sebab mereka memang beroperasi 24 jam dan maklumat itu tentu sahih.
Speaking after visiting a flood relief centre at Sekolah Kebangsaan Galing in Kuantan, Datuk Saifuddin also said that any NGOs that wish to provide help for the flood evacuees could contact the Welfare Department in each district. Court has ruled that no one was involved in the death of Franco-Irish teenager Nora Ann Quarren. In delivering her verdict, Coroner Maimuna Ayed said after hearing all relevant evidence, it is more probable that the victim died due to misadventure after she went out of the resort where she was staying with a family and subsequently got lost in an abandoned oil palm plantation. The verdict also denied all speculations and assumptions made by various quarters on the case. The inquest proceeding was conducted from the 24th of August until 10 December last year, involving a total of 47 witnesses, including Nora Ann's parents. Nora Ann, a 15-year-old with learning difficulties, disappeared from the resort last year, triggering a 10-day hunt involving helicopters, sniffer dogs and hundreds of searchers. Her body was discovered close to the jungle retreat, and an autopsy found that she had died of internal bleeding linked to starvation after spending about a week in the dense rainforest. An enhanced movement control order (EMCO) will be enforced at Kampung Timbang Dayang in Kota Belud, Sabah, effective tomorrow until 18 January. Senior Minister for Security Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the decision was made due to an increase of positive COVID-19 cases in the area. In a statement today, the senior minister said until the 31st of December, a total of 207 individuals had been screened and 24 were found positives. He also announced that the EMCO at Jasin Correctional Centre and its staff quarters would end today. At present, the Health Ministry has screened 737 individuals at the facility, with 281 of them found positive. The ministry also confirmed that active cases at the facility are on a downward trend and that no other sample results are pending. Meanwhile, a total of 466 individuals were detained for violating the Recovery Movement Control Order yesterday. Of the number, 463 individuals were issued compounds, 2 were remanded and 1 individual was released on bail. On Op Benteng, the authorities have arrested 24 illegal immigrants and seized 6 vehicles. On to the COVID-19 updates. The number of active COVID-19 cases in the country rises to 22,089 after another 1,741 new infections reported today. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah said Selangor tops the number of new infections with 687, followed by 303 in Sabah and 295 in Johor.
Setakat 3 Januari, 1,704 kes telah dilaporkan dengan kadar kebolehjangkitan 1.1, iaitu ada peningkatan daripada 1.0 kepada 1.11. Pada hari ini, 1,741 kes telah dilaporkan dengan kadar R0 ataupun kebolehjangkitan iaitu 1.11.
Meanwhile, the Health DG said another 1,010 patients were treated and discharged from hospitals, bringing the total number of recoveries made to 98,228, or 81.3% of the total number of cases. Currently, there are 122 patients being treated in the intensive care unit, with 53 of them intubated. Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham also added that the death toll rose to 501 after another 7 deaths reported today. Also reported was the number of active clusters, which now stands at 231 after 6 declared inactive and another 5 discovered in Kuala Lumpur, Selangor, Perak and Melaka. 4 individuals, including 2 directors of frozen meat import companies, were remanded for 4 days from today by the Johor Bahru Magistrates Court on suspicion of being involved in corrupt activities on the issue of smuggling frozen meat early last month. The remand order was issued by Assistant Registrar Nur Izzati Muhammad to allow the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) to probe further into the case under Section 17B of the MACC Act 2009. 3 of the suspects were the director, managing director and a clerk of one of the companies, while the other one was a director of the other company. All of them, aged between 39 and 50, were earlier detained at the Johor MACC office to assist in the ongoing investigation. Earlier, the MACC in a statement said it had identified the frozen meat importers believed involved in the corrupt activities. It said this was made possible with the cooperation from the Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry, the Department of Veterinary Services, the Department of Malaysian Quarantine Inspection Services and the Customs Department. Yet to come, compensation for HSR project cancellation not finalized. The compensation amount for the cancellation of the Kuala Lumpur-Singapore High-Speed Rail HSR project has not been finalized. Therefore, any figures on compensation mentioned by any party are mere speculation. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Economy, Datuk Seri Mustafa Mohamad said this via Facebook today. The minister explained that Malaysia is waiting for the cost details from Singapore. Once received, it will be scrutinized before being confirmed. He said the types of claims allowed have already been agreed upon. However, the compensation figure cannot be disclosed as both Malaysia and Singapore are bound by a confidentiality clause in the bilateral agreement. Nevertheless, he said his team will discuss with Singapore to get an agreement to share information on the amount of compensation after it is finalized. Datuk Seri Mustafa also stressed that the compensation was not punitive in nature. Rather, it is to reimburse the specific costs of the project that Singapore had already spent. As to whether the aborted project would be replaced with the Kuala Lumpur-Johor Bahru HSR, he said the government would undertake a detailed study to determine the next direction. A total of 3.468 billion ringgit were paid by Prasarana Malaysia Berhad to MRCB George Kent Sendiran Berhad or MRCB GK. Its non-executive chairman Datuk Seri Tajuddin Abdul Rahman said the latest payment was made on the 2nd of October 2020. He also denied claims made by certain quarters that alleged Prasarana had withheld from paying the Light Rail Transit 3 or LRT 3 contractors and consultant, which went viral recently.
Ini subcontractors ni, they are not our contractors, you know. They are subcontractors to the MRCB just can. If they have any problem of payment, they go to the MRCB just can lah. Latest payment up to October. Mana ada delay sampai 6 bulan, 7 bulan, setahun ke?
He said this in a press conference when asked to comment on the matter. Explaining further, Datuk Seri Tajuddin said MRCB GK as the main contractor should have enough capital to execute the project and complete payment to the appointed subcontractors. The Ministry of Entrepreneur Development and Cooperatives will be launching a Cooperative Transformation Plan, Transcom, 2021 to 2025 in the nearest time frame. According to its Minister, Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, the plan will outline comprehensive strategic measures to ensure the cooperatives remain competitive and sustainable.
Koperasi ini mempunyai 6 juta ahli, tapi ada je koperasi-koperasi yang bernilai tinggi tetapi ahli dia belum lagi mendapat keuntungan yang besar. Jadi dalam sudut itu kita banyak daripada skill dia to inject the new blood ataupun new energy kepada koperasi, membawa anak-anak muda, graduate dan sebagainya masuk ke dalam koperasi. So those areas we don't need money so much. Jadi dalam keadaan semakin walau bagaimanapun kalau duit diperlukan, pihak koperasi masih mempunyai modal pusingan sebanyak 350 juta.
Explaining further, the minister said the cooperative sector need to revamp their business model and change the conventional business mentality to be more progressive and innovative. He added that Transcom also aimed to transform the Malaysia Cooperative Institute (IKM) as a higher learning institute that focused on entrepreneurial and cooperative education. On another note, Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Junaidi said the second phase of Entrepreneurs and Cooperatives Recovery Plan has begun with an allocation of 17.1 million ringgit. He said the plan is implemented based on the National Entrepreneurship Policy 2030.
Kalau kita lihat dalam fasa pertama, ya, kita baru saja memulakan pembukaan ekonomi semula pada bulan Mei pada tahun 2020 dan pada bulan Januari hingga Mei tahun 2021 peringkat adalah peringkat tidak ada MCO ketat, kita hanya bersyarat, maknanya ekonomi kita telah dibuka Jadi dalam keadaan ekonomi terbuka itu, kita menggunakan apa yang kita garis pandukan, apa kita nak buat. Energizing culture into semua kita akan guna pakai dan engage kepada semua usahawan-usahawan. Kita nak tahu apa masalah tiap-tiap usahawan.
The first phase was implemented from May until December 2020, involved an allocation of 171 million ringgit that benefited over 12,000 Bumiputra recipients. Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Junaidi said the government will be making necessary changes on the aid provided by the government. Rules Nora Ann died by misadventure. Join us for updates at noon at 12:30 tomorrow. Till then, I'm Brendan Lepol. Thanks for watching. Good night.